Chat, hello. Shadow, hi. How's it going? Hope you're doing good. You dead? No. That's illegal. It's not allowed. Why are you dead? Tired from work or something? Yes, heck. I saw you made look like cheesecake or something like that. You posted in the Discord. Remember right? It was like cheesecake or something. Or is it food channel? Yeah, it looks like cheesecake of some kind. Yes, 1,500 plates. Holy fuck. Jesus, that's a lot of cheesecake. God damn. Then 1,200 salads? Jesus. Yeah, no thanks. I'm a nope on that one, Chief. God damn. That's kind of crazy. Why so many? The parties we cater? Oh, yeah, I forgot your company caters. I thought you were like, just like worked at like an event space or something. Even then, for like an event space, that's a lot. Damn. That's a lot of guests. Wah. So how have you been? I've been okay. I totally don't have ADHD. And I just realized I totally misspelled the fucking... I fat fingered my title. It's fixed. Totally don't have ADHD. Nope. Not at all. Never. Not once. We know your ass is dyslexic, ADHD, not very smart. Yeah, I'm dyslexic as fuck. ADHD as fuck. And I wouldn't say I'm not very smart. I'm just smart in things that I find interest in. And the things I don't find interest in, I don't seem very smart because I just don't apply myself to them. Because fuck that. Or you know you had the brain processing power of a potato? You'd be surprised. If there's something I have interest in, like, I'm a lot smarter than you may realize. Yeah, I was late because I'm working on a project right now that my ADHD ass brain decided I needed to work on of I didn't like it. Of basically I have a really old backup server that the motherboard is not efficient at all. Like idle, it pulls like, I want to say it pulls like 150 watts idle, which is like ridiculous. It's a really old backup server that we retired at work. And basically what I want to do is I have what's called a Zima board, and I want to take that and install it where the motherboard goes. Because the Zima board has SATA ports and PCIe and everything that's really necessary to make this work. But what I need is I need a platform that I can mount the Zima board to that will also support the PCIe card for drives, because the Zima board only has two. It's a little single board computer, but it only has two SATA ports built in, and there's 4 drive bays, so I'm going to use an add-in card for that. Ideally, I wouldn't, but ideally I'd use that for like faster networking, like 2.5 gig network card or something, but I can't because I need more SATA ports. So I basically want to mount these in the spot where the motherboard in the chassis goes. And then I'm gonna at some point order a little controller board that'll wire to the Zima board, and I'll be able to turn everything on with the front power button, and turn it off with the front power button. But what I need to do is I need to design a little sled that I can screw this equipment to and then screw it into the motherboard tray of the server chassis, as a starting point, and then I go from there. So that's what we're going to be working on tonight. I found a model online that someone made for the Zima board, and it's just like a generic mount that you're supposed to drill into with a drill and just screw a screw in to support like the add-in card. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to actually make it mount, and I also need to modify it to fit the chassis properly where I want it to be, but that's what we're working on tonight. So in remembering my name and how to pronounce names, you just don't care. Nice. That's not how that works. Okay. I have no idea what the hell you just said. Exactly, Shadow. You still gonna call me dumb? Unfortunately, one of the downsides to downloading a model from online and just not doing it from scratch. I could do it from scratch, but that's a lot of measuring that I don't want to do. So I'm just doing it off of what I found online. But the problem is most models you find online are just going to be just basic STL files. Oh god, something is very broken. Okay, let's just Control Z that. I'm working on it while I'm talking to you guys, but basically, if it's an STL, what that is that's essentially a mesh of the object. It's not like a model, it's just a mesh. And when you import that into 3D software to work on, you have to convert that mesh to a solid. And when you do that, it has problems. And I'm working on fixing those right now. But if I switch to this view? No. This view? Yes. So basically this is the design. The Zima board goes over here, and then there's this little plateau that helps support the add-in card. And then these holes and stuff, I'm gonna get rid of those probably, because I need to move them, but oh yeah. And will Shadow, yeah, is that the case? What I thought about doing, well, see, the big thing I don't want to have to figure out, which I'm probably actually gonna have to figure out anyways. Let me look at this. Actually, that wouldn't be that hard to figure out. But is the distance between here and here, because that's like the level that the card's supposed to be at, supposedly. I would need to design that, and that's not that difficult, but it may be better just to start from scratch, because this has a lot of radiuses and holes and stuff that are very messed up, as you can see from the conversion process from an STL to a solid, or from a mesh to a solid. And in order to fix that so Fusion, which is what this program's called from Autodesk, it has a paid version. I'm using the free version, but it has a paid version that can fix all of this stuff automatically for you, but that's in the paid version. And I'm not going to pay for that because that's very expensive. So this is the way to fix it manually. I have to go in and select faces, extra faces, and delete them. And sometimes it doesn't like deleting them. And also this doesn't give me perfect roundness. Like this is all fucking, there's different segments. It's not just like one sweep. Whereas like this is what it was before. It's all fucked up. Different slices and wedges and stuff. You fix that by just like selecting a face and deleting it, and the software kind of figures it out and fixes it. But if I like delete that one, it doesn't like it. It gives me an error. So I have to like delete this one, and then that one, and it fixes the whole section. But it might be easier for me to just redesign this from scratch, which I might do. It might be easier. Maybe. Because then I could customize all of these radiuses and stuff if I want. Because I am wanting to add like a little IO dust shield thing that covers the IO port on the chassis. Because if you think about it, this setup, which can I show? Maybe. Well, I'll just turn on my camera. So this setup here, this is the Zima board, and this is the PCIe add-in card. Just plugs in to the PCIe port. So, like, this side here where all the ports are and stuff, this is gonna go where the IO shield of the motherboard goes. And this whole width fits in there no problem. But I'm wanting to expose this on the Zima board, but have a blank for this, because this doesn't need that. So I'm going to be modifying the file anyways, but yeah. Cutie on screen, cutie on screen. I'm not cute, for one. And for two, there was a IRL full on screen, yes. That is an accurate statement. That part. I'm not cute. But you are, but I'm not. Imagine that. This whole project literally started today. Because I got a wild hair at my ass to build another storage server. Because I already have this hardware and I want to put it to use. See how fucked up this radius is? It's like just all fucked. It may honestly just be better just to redo this from scratch. I wish they would have just included, because you can upload different file types, right? This model alone, this listing, had 3 different files, none of which were the actual design files, which sucks, because it makes modifying it difficult. Or not difficult, but inconvenient, which is really annoying. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. This one, I'm gonna delete that. Kind of fixes it. Like, I don't know why they did this. This is just not, I don't know. But maybe you are, maybe I'm not, though. Have you ever considered? I'll be up our ass. What's our ass? Never heard of that one. What is that? See if I delete this one. Oh, it actually took that one. Interesting. A lot of times it doesn't like it. This file is so fucked up. This needs to just get deleted, I think. Problem with doing it like this is sometimes it'll leave a ledge. Yeah, no, that looks good. Like sometimes you'll accidentally delete the entire face instead of, I mean, that's kind of the objective, but doing it that way, you don't want to delete the entire face. That causes problems. Like if I delete, say, this face, then it just makes the two next to it bigger. I delete that one, bigger, bigger, bigger. Then this becomes a solid point. Which actually, that's not a bad idea for here right now. Now that's a straight corner. That's actually a good idea. I'm gonna do that all the way around. Because I need to make this wider and stuff anyways, so... this will fix that little issue. Because the rounded edges will cause a problem. Shadow. Oh, did you see the art, the new art that Zephyr got recently? That's been blowing his Twitter up, I guess. There's like 35 or 3,600 likes. Most liked tweet of all time. Jesus. And he still denies being cute after uploading that. I did? It's cute, isn't it? He's a cute little puppy wolf. I'm gonna do that to these insides too. So if I want radiuses, I'll add them later. But for now... Honestly, probably would have been quicker just to start this over from scratch. I'm being honest. Which I might still do that. But doing this right now will make measurements and stuff easier later. That's this full side. On timber. No, I'm lying. How's the yin? Has the yin been good? want to select everything, just the face. Deleting the entire model would be bad. Would not be very desirable. Doing alright, just finished reading 2 books and started on 3rd. Dang! Lighting smart. How about you? I'm doing good. I can't complain too much. Just working on a project that my ADHD ass decided I wanted to work on today for some reason. Oh, this is gonna make things so much easier fixing all the, or deleting all of this garbage. So I can customize it the way I see fit. Much easier. So now it's just a solid block that'll be easier to measure. Wonder if I can do that with these two. We'll see. I don't know if I can. These holes I don't really care about. They can disappear for all I care. They're not a huge deal for me, but... Smirt. What is this doing to the geometry? Oh god. No, that should, in theory, eventually fix itself. But they have this tapered all the way down, which is a problem. This is what I don't like about this stuff. You know what? What is this doing to the geometry? You know what, might just fix this. Okay, didn't like deleting that one. Or that one. Delete this stuff. I'm just interested now on seeing what this is doing to the geometry. Yeah, that's just not doing anything good. Oh, what's the redo? I don't know. Well, what I'm gonna do instead is I'm going to go back to solid. I'm going to create a sketch on this face. I'm going to make a rectangle that is bigger than that. Finish sketch. Where the fuck did that put it? Oh, that put one way over here. Okay, whatever. I'm going to extrude this guy. I mean, that's not quite what I wanted. Morphology. Wah? What does that do? Yeah, that's not quite what I wanted there, bud. Huh. Let's undo that. Nova the Yeen! Come on with the raid! Heck! Thank you for the raid. Shadow, could I get a shout out for Nova? How's your stream? What are you playing? Also chat, sip sip. Husky Pup Gaming. Excuse me. Coming out the raid of Wells with 19 floofs. How is your stream? Were you two playing together? Were you streaming together? Nova was playing Ghosts of Tabor. Oh, you both were playing the same thing. Were you guys streaming together? Playing together? But welcome on in, Raiders. Thank you so much for the raid, Nova and Husky Pup Gaming. You are two good floofs. I appreciate the raid very much. Welcome on in, Raiders. My name is Timber. I'm a casual variety streamer. I usually play a lot of adventure / survival games here. Tonight we're just working in some CAD or computer assisted design. I'm very ADHD, and today I figured I wanted to work on a project out of the blue. And so that's what we're doing. What I'm working on right now is I found this model online. This is for a single board computer, just like basically a miniature PC, mini PC. And it's just a tray to hold it, so I can screw it into the wall or something else. And then a little support plateau for an add-in card. But I'm working on this to put it in a computer chassis, basically. We were playing together. Nice! How is you? I'm doing well. My day today has gone pretty good so far, and tonight's been going pretty good too. I hope you had a wonderful raid. Wow. My brain is fried. I hope you had a wonderful stream. And thank you for the follow. Same to you, Husky Pup. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. I feel that. Yeah. But yeah, this is just was a model I found online, and I'm trying to modify and fix it and stuff because they didn't include the proper files to modify it. So I'm modifying it my own way. But I may not actually work on that. I may just start a fresh one. Because now I kind of have the measurement or the thing laid out the way I need it to get some measurements. But yeah, basically, let me switch to my face cam. I really need to add a button on my Stream Deck to go to my face cam. But hello chat. But this is what I'm trying to put in the motherboard tray of a server. And this is called a Zima board. It's just a little single board computer. And it has a little PCIe slot at the bottom here, which an add-in card like this slots into. And the model that we're working on basically holds these together and provides support for this, because this is just hanging off the PCIe slot. So it's supposed to support it in together as one unit, and then also screw down to the motherboard tray in the server that I want to put this in. But yeah. Cute. I'm not cute, Shadow. That is factually incorrect. Also, I need to turn my heat down, because now that I'm streaming, my office is getting a little toasty. Or kind of. So, I'll put that back down. It's actually kind of cold here. I had to turn the heat on today because it was just warm or cold. It's really neat. My brain could never do this. My brain is interesting. It decides what I do randomly. I didn't plan on doing this at all until like 4 hours ago. Then I dug the server out of storage because the main reason I'm doing this is the server is very old. It has a very old processor that is horribly inefficient, and it idles at about 150 watts of usage from the wall, just idling. This Zima board, the single board computer, idles at like, actually no, it idles at like 2 or 3 watts and maxes out at like 6 watts. It's very low power. But what I'm planning on using the server for is not going to be resource intensive. It's just for a backup server. But, so low power is good. So I'm not just wasting power. But, I took that motherboard out of the chassis and I'm designing a tray, which is what this will eventually be, that I'll screw this Zima board and this add-in card together to, and then screw the tray down into the motherboard tray of the chassis. So it's all one contained unit all together, solid, not jankily hanging a PCIe card off of the side of the Zima board. And I'll have to order a special part for the server that makes it so I can tie it into the Zima board to turn on the power supply and also be able to control it with the front power button and stuff. But that's a later thing. But for now, I just want to get this in there because that'll be very nice. But yeah, I nerd out with stuff like this all the time. It's kind of annoying, to be honest. Because I was not planning on doing this until, like I said, like 4 hours ago. And I was like, ooh, what if I just did this? I'm like, brain, we really do not need to do this. I have plenty of other things on my plate. But, yeah. So what I'm gonna do, I'm trying to think. I could just, because this, I think, is just based off of the screw locations on the bottom of the Zima board. And those should be easy to measure. What would make this easier is if I had a model of both the Zima board and the add-in card. So I could just use those to design on top of. But, yeah. It's what makes it fun, if you say so. When you live with that all the time because of, you know, ADHD, it gets very annoying very quickly. But yeah, this is meant to just mount the Zima board and whatever add-in card to the wall, which is why these are tapered, and that's not what I'm going to be using this for. Also, that perspective looks really weird. You know what? No, it's straight. That perspective is weird as fuck. Why is it? I know what's going on. This is like an isometric view, I think. This is how it's called. Because that just does not look right. What is going on? That's not right. Where's the setting? So I set that at some point. That'll drive me nuts. Utilities. Huh. I've never set that before on accident. I don't know. What is happening? Huh. I don't know what's going on there. Well, I mean, I do know what's going on. I don't know how that got set. It's like, especially that's so weird. You can see the cells in the grid get bigger the further away they are compared to the ones here. So they look the same size, even though those ones are way smaller because of the distance. And this obviously looks weird as fuck. I mean, it's not an issue, per se, but it just throws me off. Does it do that if I open up a new design? No. This is what it should look like. Weird. Very weird. You know what? 1 second, chat. I'm gonna go take a measurement of the motherboard tray. So I can figure out how far apart these screw holes are. 1 second. Wah. Chat cute, by the way. Okay. Let's see. You make a 2D sketch. Let's go back to the default view. This view. 175 by 180. That's the footprint I'm working in. Basically. And I need to extrude that. Or actually, ideally, I would put, hold on a second. Ideally, on that sketch, I would put the whole layout, which will be interesting. Eon Fable, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Wah wah. Hydrate. Sip sip chat. Sip sip. Sip sip. I'm just gonna bring the chassis over here. 1 second, chat. Wah. Having the chassis over here for me to just measure off of will make things a lot easier. Also, I'm gonna take all of the drives out of the trays. Or this drive sleds out of the trays. There's drives in them and they're adding a fair amount of weight. Here we go. So get rid of the fans. Just move down at some point. That's fun. I may have done that years ago. Wawa. Ecto, hello. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Is it hard to get? Yeah. I was gonna pull the power supply so the cords aren't in my way, but I'm not gonna do that because that's a pain in the ass. But basically, let me turn on my face cam and I'll show you guys. So, this is the server chassis anyways. There's 4 hard drive bays in the front, power supply, back plane. There's the cables going to each hard drive sled, power supply cables and stuff. But basically, what I'm designing right now is gonna go right here. So the Zima board is gonna go right around in there. And then the adding card will go right next to it, like right there. Right next to the power supply. But I'm gonna use these 4 mounting locations to mount it. And those are going to be interesting to measure. So I don't have a solid place to measure from. I mean, I kind of do, because of there's like a plastic insulator in the bottom of this, so I could measure from the edge of that, because that doesn't move. I guess it kind of does. I mean, it comes out if I wanted to take it out. Could also measure. Wow. I could also just measure the motherboard. That may get me better. I'm gonna do that. It'll get me better accuracy. 1 second, chat. I'm tired. Gotta rush to the drugstore to get a copy of the document real quick. Wah. Timber cute, no lighting cute. Chaotic evil. Drill new threaded holes. The problem with that is the chassis is. I don't know how thin this material is. On the bottom, it's like, actually I can measure. It's about 1¼ millimeters thick. So the problem with that is I wouldn't be able to thread that. It's too thin to thread. And I don't want anything protruding from the bottom of the chassis. Because this is supposed to be rack mounted, that would prevent things from being able to rack up directly below it. And there's already threaded standoffs that are like pressed into place that don't protrude, but protrude out the top a slight bit. That way they're thick enough for threads. And that's what I'm wanting to use. Otherwise I would also have to like punch those out or cut them out or something. And I don't really want to do that. Let me grab the motherboard real quick, chat. Okay. Let's see here. This is the old ass motherboard. It's a dual socket board. There's a spot for 2 CPUs. It only has one in it. And like I said, this thing idled at like 150 watts. It was ridiculous. But I can use the holes as and like the edges of the motherboard as like defining edges on where I want the edge of my mounting bracket to be, and to line up the holes where I need them to be. So that'll work out pretty good. Put this over here as well as this. Probably not on top of that. These can go here. Just want this on my table here. There we go. Let me go back to sharing my desktop. Wah. So, for this, 175 was the width, if I am not mistaken. I need my light. A light over here. Below, so I can see the screens and not interfere with the tracking for my face. So, oh, that could actually be like 170. Let me undo the sketch and start from scratch again. So I want this to be, yeah, 170 would give me plenty of meat. So 170 millimeters by, let's see here. I don't know why I didn't think of measuring the motherboard tray or the motherboard itself before. 170 millimeters squared, really? Is that gonna work? I mean, yeah, sure it would. Would it not? Let me measure this one just to make sure. Yeah, sure enough. 170 millimeters squared. So I'm gonna come in. This is, so the way I do 3D CAD stuff, it's not an efficient way of doing it. It's not the proper way of doing it, but I don't care. So, yeah. The way I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna come down. Actually, no, I want to come down from the other corner because I'm essentially measuring this backwards because I have the motherboard upside down. So I want this hole to be approximately 33 millimeters from the top. And then I'm going to come over, not very far, because it's right on the edge of the board, basically. Say, let's see here. About 6.5 millimeters. I don't know if this is like a standard like SATA layout, because if it was, I could probably just pull up the specs on what it needs to be, but I don't know if it is off the top of my head. Where's my screwdriver? It's over here. Oh, come on. There we go. My chunky screwdriver bit. I'm essentially just going to pull one of the motherboard screws out so I can use it to measure how big of a hole I need. Okay, so there's that. So this screw needs a hole that is, say, 3.5 millimeters big. That off to the side. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and delete that line and delete that line. Okay, so that's that hole. Now on the other side of the board, this one is going to be, I'm going to go the same way because otherwise it's going to be annoying and it's going to fuck with my head. This one's right on 10. Yeah, it's 10 millimeters. And then I'm going to come over. Up with there. I'm going to come over from this edge. So that's the easiest way to measure it. I want to come off the same side for measuring. Otherwise shit just gets a little wacky. There's that. 163.5? Not 163. Shit, that's almost 163 and 3/4. Let's see here. Say 163.5. So right there is where I need my 3.5 millimeter hole. going to delete that one and delete that one. Chomp, Timber. No. Lightning, I'm gonna chomp you. Rude. Yeah, that looks about right. They're quite a bit off from each other. Bet you won't. Don't threaten me with a good time, little shit. Okay, let's measure how far down this one is. This side. 165 millimeters? Yeah. 165. And then over. Is this. Starting to get myself mixed up here. This should be basically in line. Hold on a second. Let me close this before I break it. Wait. Hold on a second. Why is that zeroed out at 5 millimeters? Or negative 5 millimeters. What the fuck? No, it's still 165. Okay. I just went a little too fast for it to actually do anything here. So what I can do here is I'll just come off the center point of that. I'll just have it come down. I'll go here and I'll just right there. Wait, no. Tab. 90. Tab. Lock it in at 90. Now it has like an indent point right here where it meets up with the line right next to it. And you can see right here, I'm like following parallel to the line I just drew. So 132 millimeters. Let's check. I need to put a new battery in this thing. It says 132. Yeah. Let's see. Locked at 132. Yep. 132 millimeters. So right there is where we need to put a 3.5 millimeter hole. And I'll delete that line, and I'll delete that line. Not that line. That line. There we go. And then over yonder, it's basically the same. It's in line with the other, actually not quite. It's in line with this hole I just drew. So it's gonna be somewhere here. Be somewhere along this line. But from the top, it's gonna be, hold on a second. See, I'm getting confused here. See, it looks like it's probably in line with this hole going down, but I can't tell for sure. So I'm just gonna come over to the edge because I'm measuring from this edge. What am I hung up on? Oh, nothing. This board is deceptively heavy because the CPU cooler is just very heavy on it for whatever reason. I mean, it's a fairly large chunk of aluminum. I think it's 163.5. 163.5. Is that in line with this one? Yes, it is. It is. Okay, delete that line, delete that line. That should be the screw layout. Reversed, basically. I mean, actually, no, this will be viewed from the top. So the power supply is over here, and the IO shield is right here. So that should be all I need from this sketch, anyways. I'm gonna put the motherboard back down. Yeah. Sit over there. Move this light out of the way. And then the nice thing about Fusion is you have tabs, so like I can switch back and forth between these. Excuse me. But first, I'm gonna go to home view. I'm gonna extrude this. How high do I want this extruded? I don't know exactly how tall it needs to be. Let's say, I always use my digital calipers as a visual of how thick things are. Let's say it's 4 millimeters thick. It's a decent foundation. It'll have a fair amount of structural rigidity for what it's doing. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. It's just holding like 20 ounces of weight. Okay. Now I will create sketch. Look at this motherboard real quick. Where does that hole line up with IO? Where's that? Okay, 1 second. I'm gonna go grab the IO shield 1 second. The old IO shield. IO shield tells me kind of how close this is to the edge. Actually, it doesn't. Need to upload my VRC character. I feel that. I really need to update my model on VRChat because it's using a super old version of the Canis. And I haven't fixed it because I absolutely hate Unity with a passion. So basically, I think there's a way to like, I should have just created this here. I think there may be a way to move things between tabs, maybe. Can I just select this? Let me, select. I want to select the entire body. Bodies. Mesh body 1. I want to copy. Oh wait, no, that's not what I want. I also need to play VRC more, do it, but also play Resonite. Resonite's better than VRC in my opinion, but I don't know who to play with. I'm sure you have lots of friends in VR. Let me just copy that. Can I paste it here? Bodies. No. I thought there was a way. That's unfortunate. Because now I need, what I'm basically need to do now, is this is the top view looking down. So I have the whole layout for the screws. I guess I could just measure the motherboard tray and see in relation to the IO shield. Because basically the edge of the Zima board needs to be right on the edge of the IO shield to line up properly. But what's a friend? Lying. Wah. Friend. See, Rez is a friend. Rez is a floofy friend. Very floofy. Very comfy. Rez, how's it going? How you doing tonight? Yeah. Let me see. This is gonna be a very rough estimation. Let me see. The Zima board fits into the. I really need a wireless headset or something. Fits in like right there. I mean, I can actually. I have some wiggle room. So it can technically go all the way to the screw. But past that it can't do. So, and with the adding card, how far over does that put me? I got plenty of space. Bring it over to like that. Meh. You're building a custom case? Dead man! Wah! I am not. Right now I'm modeling a mounting plate for my Zima board, which is like a single board computer, and an adding card. That's gonna go in place of a motherboard in a server chassis. So, I mean, that right there works pretty good. I'm sure there's a way to like translate this computer easily, but there's not. I do have a marker. Let me mark this on this shield that's here. Doing this, it's kind of difficult. Let's see. No, it's not. Oh, that ain't it, Chief. I need more precision. Does my pen mark this plastic? Question. I mean, ideally it would be like there. It does mark the plastic. There. Like a perfect fit for the Zima board right there. Hey, D-man. Dead man. Yes. Do they normally fit in a standard PC case, or are they server specific? Is what? Because what I'm doing right now is completely custom. So I need to remove this screw so I can get the center of the standoff. And then I'm just gonna measure this gap, and then I'll know roughly where I need to put things. Centered. Let's say like 9mm. Put this screw back so I don't lose it. So I'm going to create a new 2D sketch. go from center point of this over 9 millimeters. That'll be the edge of the Zima board. Bore don't fit in either case. Here, let me show you what I'm doing, Deadman. Really need to put this on a damn deal. So hello. So this is the server chassis. I took the motherboard out because it's an ancient motherboard. This is an ancient server. But the motherboard's, it's like this whole server at idle pulled like 150 watts at idle. I don't want that because there's gonna be a backup server. So I took the motherboard out, and what I'm putting in its place is this contraption. This right here is a Zima board. It's just an all-in-one single board computer. It has a couple SATA ports on the back and stuff, and an exposed PCIe slot. This is very low power. It has a TDP of like 6 watts. It's not very, like, it doesn't have a lot of horsepower, which is fine. It's just a backup server. It's just going to be sharing storage over the network, but it's going to be perfect for a backup server because it's just extremely low power. And then this is an adding card to add SATA ports. This is technically called an HBA or host bus adapter. This converts PCIe to a special connector right there, which has a breakout cable that goes to SATA ports. And this goes in the PCIe slot like that. And so the bracket that I am in the middle of designing is going to screw to the bottom of the Zima board. It's going to screw through the 2 holes that mounts the IO shield for this add-in adapter. This thing. That way it's all on one plate, and then the plate is going to screw down into 4 of the motherboard hold down mounting points. So it's all nice and solidly mounted. And these ports are going to be exposed to where the IO shield used to be on the chassis. Yeah. So it's completely custom thing. Also, so this is the chassis. The IO hole is right there where the IO of the motherboard goes. This is gonna go right there. That's the end goal, is this is gonna sit right here. The IO is gonna be exposed through the old IO shield slot. And I'll be able to hook up the hard drives. Everything will be hunky-dory dandy, very custom. Hydrate. Sip sip chat. Stretch. Stretch. It sounds like a fun project. It is. The thing about it, and this leads into the title of the stream, I'm totally not ADHD. Nah, not at all. This project spontaneously popped into my head 4 hours ago. I don't know. It's just like wild hair up my ass. I decided I want to do this right now. So that's what I'm doing. It's yeah, it's wonderful. There's so many other things I could be doing right now, but no, this is what I decided to do. So yeah. Yeah, how you doing, Ed, man? You doing good? I'm just gonna put a line straight down the side here. Zoom out. Let's tab. Let's put in 90 as tab again. That locks it into place. And we're going to intersect the bottom of the model. We know that is the extreme edge of where the Zima board will sit. It'll sit over here. And the very end of it is going to be butted up against the end of this. That way it kind of seals against the IO surrounding bracket. But I do that occasionally. Now's a great time to reorganize my shelf. Currently 4 a.m. Yeah, pretty much. I've had a lot of that the past few months. Randomly decide to reorganize my garage starting at like 3 in the morning. End up going to bed at like 7 or 8 with work the next day. Yeah. Whoops. Doing all right. Broke, but all right. I feel that. I feel that. Big time. Yeah, no, that's a big mood. Being broke sucks. Turns out. Imagine that. Tend to be the most productive from like 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. I tend to be the most productive past midnight for whatever reason. I don't know why. I've always been like this, but yeah. We're supposed to not be broke. Yeah, turns out. Yeah, that can go hide. So now I need to figure out, do I want to take the back plate off of the Zima board so I can measure this? Or do I try to find these measurements online, which I think there are measurements. Because I have this, but this doesn't tell me the whole story. I know there's a hole here. There's here and there. But I have no reference point on where this is in relation to the edge of the Zima board, which is what I'm going off of for this. Because this is where I want the edge of the Zima board to sit. I tend to be the most productive, like never. I also feel that. My productivity spikes are few and far between. I'm gonna switch back to this for a second. Just need to open up my web browser and look for what I'm looking for. Zima board schematic. Development. No. Zima board. I know they've released this stuff. Let me see here. This. Only if you're fine with exploiting people. What? Tired causers? That's a very weird first message. Let's see. No, that's not what I want. Where I've seen like full schematics for this thing. Where are they? Let's see here. Stream. That was easy. Where is the schematics? This has, no, that's not it. Let's see. I want like, okay, that's like a get started. That's not what I'm looking for. Lying cute. Let's see here. I want the schematic with full dimensions, all that stuff. And I know it exists because I've looked at it before. Should have downloaded it. Let's see. Remember cute? No lighting cute. Let's see here. Hardware interface. Where's the old dock? Basically, this is what I'm looking at, chat. So I see it has a mini PC or PCIe 2.0 X4, which is fine. I see the pinouts for the power in if you don't want to use the barrel jack, which is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hardwire it, but also the front IO, which is good to know because I'll be using those as well eventually. But the dock I had The dock I seen before had like full schematics. Heatsink, no. Okay, well, you know what I'm down to do? I'm just gonna take the heatsink off. Swap my screwdriver bit out. Most things I have them written somewhere. Yeah. And I know it does because I've seen it before. But I am failing to find it. So I'm just gonna take the bottom plate off and then the heatsink off. And that will give me access. I don't actually need to take the heatsink all the way off, but I just need to measure the distance of the screw hole to the edge so I know where to put the holes in the model. Void, hello. How's it going? Long time no see. Hope you've been doing well. Okay. So now I have the bottom plate off of this thing. And the heatsink is not going to fall off because it still has 2 screws in it. So that's good. This thing is a CPU fan header. Interesting, I didn't know that. Are you building a server? Kind of, Lightning. Basically, yes. Kind of. Not really. I'm building a adapter mounting plate, basically, right now. So, I'm going to measure down. From the very front, looks like we're about 15 millimeters. We're going to come down 15 millimeters. We're going to come over. It's like 4 millimeters. So that right there is what we need. And we need this to be, where's one of the screws? Could make the screw hole exact, like 3 millimeters is what it would need to be, basically. Doesn't leave a whole lot of leeway for error. What's it do? It's just going to be a storage server, a backup server, basically. It's not going to do anything crazy. It's the hole size in the acrylic bottom that it has on the bottom of the thing. 3.2 millimeters. .2 millimeters does give it a little bit of leeway, which is probably good. Let's do 3.2 millimeters. Okay. And then, so because we know this one, it'll be easy to find the rest. So I'm going to measure. First off, I'm going to get rid of this line, because we no longer need that. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of that line. I'm going to measure down again from here. Always start from where you measured the first time. Reference point. Otherwise, you're going to get fucked up results. Looks like... $130... Not 132. I think 132.5. Do a sanity check, but 132.5. I'm going to measure from the center of this hole to here. Should be 117.5 between holes. That is not correct. Like 117 between holes. Yeah, no, that's right. This is 133 or 132 should be fine. Yeah, the way I was measuring it was funky. 132 should be good. Should build my own server? You should, Lighten. Absolutely. You don't need crazy hardware either. 3.2 millimeters. Be a nice experience, yeah. I don't know how to get started. Literally any computer. Literally anything, even a Raspberry Pi. So actually what I need to do is I need to delete that and also delete that measurement so it's not in my way. I'm over however wide this thing is. Let's see. $65 millimeters. I'm glad they made this like fairly standard. And what is this measurement? 117, perfect. They made all of these measurements fairly standardized, which is good, not some weird number. Those are the holes for the Zima board. Which means I could technically get rid of this, but I don't want to do that yet. See, now if I hook this in, I know that's a solid mount. This is gonna be tricky. The reason I say this is gonna be tricky is because when I plug this PCIe card in, I basically am trying to measure in something that can move, which is a problem. Granted, it shouldn't move much, but okay, so this is that. Also trying to measure weird distances and stuff. It's not perfectly lined up. Problematic. What it is, to say the least. Let me see. Let me try to think about how I'm gonna do this. Wait, I need to get like another camera set up so you guys can see what I'm doing on my desk when I'm doing stuff like this, projects like this. Would be nice. Right now I'm just measuring. I have the PCIe card in and I'm just trying to measure distances that are not easy to measure because the card doesn't go all the way out as far forward as the Zima board, so I can't measure off of that. And it does move a little bit, not much, but it does move a little bit, and then the holes aren't lined up perfectly, so it's like it's like maybe 13.5 millimeters. Let's say that's 13.5 millimeters. So I'm gonna come over, measure 13.5 millimeters. The hole is roughly somewhere up here. So we're gonna measure up. There, over here, I'm just gonna measure this again. Roughly. I want to say 6 millimeters. I'm gonna say that's where the first hole for this card is. From there, it'll be easier to measure once I get the first one down. But I need to pull one of the PCIe bracket screws out. And this thing really isn't going to have much meat to screw into the plastic with. I may have to get longer screws. But they'll be the same size regardless, so that's fine. The 2.7 millimeter, so 3 millimeters should be good. This is going to be a 3 millimeter hole. I could make it 3.2 millimeter. How much does this rock in the old bottom of the Zima board? Is it too much? Actually, I think about it. This one's going to be smaller. Okay, hold on a second. Because the screw is going to screw into holes in the plastic, I'm not going to get a heat set or anything for this. I mean, ideally I would, but 2.7, 2.5 would probably be good. This is not holding anything, it's just stopping it from wiggling around. So let's say 2.5. Okay, delete that. I'm gonna delete that. Okay, put the screw back in the bracket before I lose it. I think it's like a M2 screw or something like that. It's pretty small. Okay. That means directly across from this. How far? Not. Let's see. Roughly, let's say it's 54 millimeters. It's going to be the other 2.5 millimeter hole. I'm going to delete this line and delete that measurement. Those are the two top ones. I'll also have to measure some other things, but this gets me part of the way there. I also want, so that's gonna hold it there. What about the back? That's gonna be more tricky. Because the back holes, so if I switch to my camera view, so move this down. Actually, let me move it up so you guys can see. So because of how this goes in, this can wiggle, as you can see. So I'll have a little bit of wiggle room for mistakes, but I just measured these two holes here where the bracket goes. Normally that's all that would hold it in the computer, but because this is laying down, I want to make sure it can't move on the back side either. Do I worry about that? That's the question. Because if I do, then I'm going to need to try to find where that hole is in relation to these holes, which is going to be a little more tricky. I mean, it may not be that hard actually, because these are on the same, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Put this light back down so I can see what I'm doing on my desk. Another thing is there's a bunch of components on the bottom side of this board, so I can't just have a flat plane that this screws solidly down into. I'm gonna need to have little tiny standoffs that I model that reduce the contact patch of the card to the print. Do I worry about that? I mean, if both holes in the front are secured, it really can't go anywhere. I'm gonna ignore it for now. We'll see if I ignore it later, but... So, actually I need this. So now... I need... Go here, The Zima board is going to screw down to this, but not exactly. I also want it on some standoffs. And also I'm going to cut out a big portion of the inside because it doesn't need to be there. But I need to make some standoffs. Hold the Zima board up from the surface slightly. I'd say this one has the closest components. Seven millimeters of work, I think. The wonderful thing about 3D printing is I can always just scrap the piece if it doesn't work and print it again. But go from here, we're gonna go to 7 millimeters. And we're gonna do that all the way around on all these. 7 millimeters. 7 millimeters. And 7 millimeters. And then the other one for the add-in card, it's actually on the same, I'm looking at it and it's on the same plane as the motherboard is of the Zima board. So I'm not too concerned about it. I'll raise the whole thing together. Oh, that was the wrong thing. I need this one. I don't need the Zima board anymore. I just need to measure how wide I can go with this. You know what? 7 millimeter will work for that too. Seven millimeter. And 7 millimeter for this one too. Okay. I think that's all I need. For now. I have my mounting holes. Finish a sketch. My home view. Zima board's here, add-in cards here. My mounting holes are here. I may need longer screws for that, maybe. We'll see. So what I'm gonna want to do, I'm gonna want to extrude this, but one second, I need to see how much space I can, or how high I can extrude it without issues. So I'm gonna need to put the Zima board in the server chassis, kind of guesstimate how much space I have, and I have quite a bit. Let's see. We set this to 9. Lock it. Can't mess it up. And I gave it a little more. 9.5 maybe? Ooh, Fusion 360, yeah, what you making? So right now, I am working on making an adapter plate. 1.5. Honestly, it can be 10. I'll just say it can be 10 millimeters. It'll be good. But basically, I'm making an adapter plate for a motherboard tray. So these outer holes that are already in the model, those are... I forgot to delete that line 1 second, because that's going to bother me. Delete that line. And then finish the sketch. So these 4 holes are mounting holes for essentially a ATX pattern for like motherboards. And what I'm making is I'm modeling an adapter plate that I can mount a single board computer SBC. It's called a Zima board, the one I have. It's going to mount to these 4 locations and sit on top, and then the IO shield is going to be back here. And then there's going to be a little add-in PCIe card right here. And basically what I'm doing is I have a really old server that the motherboard still works, the old CPU still works, but horribly inefficient. It idles at like 150 watts. And I'm wanting this server to just be a backup server, just for a cold store of my VODs and other data. Doesn't need to be high performance, doesn't need to suck back a shit ton of power. I'm trying to avoid that. So I'm going to use this single board computer. It's very low power, doesn't have a lot of horsepower, but it doesn't need to. It's just sharing drives basically to the network. And it idles at like 2 watts or something like that. And it has a TDP of 6 watts, so it's extremely low power. But I don't need the power, so it's a good thing. It's going to save me power. But I want to use this chassis. It's a 1U server chassis, rack mount chassis, because it has like 4 hot swap sleds in the front. It's a super micro chassis. So I'm making an adapter plate so I can screw the SBC to this plate as well as the add-in card, and then be able to screw this down to the motherboard tray. So it's stationary and in good spot. And then I have to order another part to make this work the way I want it to work. But I'll do that later. But I'm just trying to get this so I can print this on my 3D printer and then mount it in the chassis, so it's all contained and it'll be good. But sounds like a great side grade. Yeah, honestly, the old CPU probably didn't have much more horsepower than what this little tiny SBC has. So you fill in the whole drive bay. So this isn't going, this is going in the motherboard tray. And it has, of course, the chassis has 4 3.5-inch drive bays in the front, and I will be filling all 4 of them, which is why I need the add-in card, because the SBC I have only has 2 SATA ports on the back, and that's obviously not enough. So I have an add-in card, an HBA. It's a SAS 9211, I think, or something like that. What is this? I actually don't know what version this is. It's an old one. It's from like 2008, 2009, but it still works. But it has a SAS 8087 port, I think is what it is. And then I have a breakout cable to break it out to 4. I'm only using this instead of just like a regular SATA card because I already have this and I don't have a regular like SATA add-in card. So I'm gonna use this instead. And yeah, should work pretty good, I think. These standoffs, how thick is this? Let me inspect it. Here to here. That is 4 millimeters thick. And I said I could go to 10. So I could add another 6 millimeters, really? I actually kind of need to do that because there's a CMOS battery, there's a bulge for the port thing here. I mean, I'd be good with 4 millimeters, to be honest. The battery wouldn't fit in 4. Wait, hold on a second. My calipers moved on me. Lock it. Yeah, battery wouldn't quite fit in 4 millimeters. So 6 millimeters standoff. That's not too bad. 6 millimeter standoff. Zeroed in, locked. Oh yeah, that'd give me plenty of space. Sweet. Rad, thick. So infill will cover that. Oh yeah, I'm not worried. I'm not gonna leave this a solid chunk. I'm gonna cut out some space, but what I'm gonna do right now is I have these standoffs modeled because, of course, the underside of both of these devices have components that are bottom mounted, so I can't mount these directly on a flat piece. So I'm going to extrude that 6 millimeters. Gives me some 6 millimeter standoffs. I am going to turn on some midnight. Start with this one. Here we go. So it's just me. This gets me my standoffs. This is what this is going to look like. Okay. This should be good. I do need to punch this hole all the way through. Okay, how thick is this piece? Hold on a second. Or am I going to have to get longer screws? This is 8.25 millimeters thick. 8.25 millimeters thick. More like 8.2 millimeters thick. But I can recess them on the other side, so it's fine. Because I don't want to have to get longer screws that go through on these standoffs, because these screw into the heatsink of the Zima board, which is my SBC. And I don't want to have to go get longer ones for that if I can avoid it. How thick is this? It starts engaging there. A good couple turns on it. Nice. 8. Not much to bite on. much at all. But that's fine. This head of this screw is not very big. I mean, I could get longer screws if I really need to, but I would like to avoid it. This is just a... This isn't a very important project. Yeah, it's only 5.25 millimeters wide. And my standoff is 7 millimeters wide. So yeah, it's still gonna have plenty of bite. Okay, let me go to this view. And let me extrude that, that, and that. Back to this. And we're gonna go all the way through. Now if I go to the bottom view, now we have our 4 holes exposed. Then I could do another sketch on this side and create a recessed spot for those screw heads. And actually I'm gonna do that now before I forget and print it and then get mad. This needs to be make it 5.5 millimeters. Okay, I'm gonna finish that sketch. Hydrate, sip sip. Wah. Sip sip. And then I'm going to go ahead and select these to extrude them. And I need to go negative. I know the base plate's 4 millimeters thick. So that's all the way through. So that starts at the same layer the standoff starts. But let me screw this in really quick till it bottoms out, and then I'll know how deep I want this extrusion to go. So I don't want these screws to bottom out. 6.15. That's fully bottomed out. Say 0.78. So I want to go like 3.25. Negative 3.25. Very cute. No lighting cute. Wah. Okay. So now those recessed spots for the screw heads are there. Go back to my home view because that's going to fuck with me. I am going to go ahead and refill it on these. The same ones over here. Let's make them huge. Right there. Yes. Technically that would work, but 4. 4 looks decent. Let's keep it at 4. Extra smooth, LOL? Yeah. Yeah, 4 should be good. Because these are just to hold the boards off of the deal so the components underneath don't touch this plate. Not a huge deal, so. I'm probably also going to be running. Let me see here. Just want to have. So, I might be running cables underneath too. Very small. But, so what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna do a sketch on this face. I wanna come down. Let's say 25 millimeters. Undo that. 25 millimeters. That's good. And then over 25 millimeters. I'm just gonna use this. Create some lines here. And then let's see here. It's 84.5. Let's bring it back to like, let's bring it to 75, sure. Enter that. Does that look good? We're gonna line down and see. I mean, that's not symmetrical. You know what? Actually, Timber, shadow. I'm just gonna do this. I sleep. Shadow. Have a good sleep. Wah. Eat well.
No emotion, just auto tune.
15 millimeters. 15 millimeters. This isn't for like a huge reduction in plastic, but a little bit. Also, don't mind my stupid way of doing things. It's very inefficient. I don't really care. That's how I know how to use this program. Delete that line. Go back in with this. I could have just trimmed instead of deleted, but that would have been another mouse click. So I'm gonna extrude that out. Ironically, I just woke up, fell asleep. I'm gonna try and force myself to go back to sleep. Have a good eep, Shadow. Get some sleep. Let me look at this other one. See this one? Yeah, this. Yeah. Technically, this could be. Oh, hold on a second. Whoops. 15 millimeters up. That's where it needs to be. I'm gonna delete that one. Delete that one. I'm going to go and cut that one and that one. Actually, I could make this wider if I wanted. And I do want to. So I'm going to grab the line. I'm going to go, how far is it? 34 and a half. I want there to be at least 15. I'm just going to do this because it's quicker. Like that. Here. Come here. Delete that line. Delete that line. And then this one, I can pretty much extend all the way out if I wanted. Is there a reason to try to keep them connected? I can't think of one. No. Want. Fucker. That one. And then I'll just trim that one off. And then that one I'll delete. Remember, I've come to say hello, Nini. Later. Whoa. Have a good eat. Wah. Posture check. My posture is actually doing pretty good tonight. Hydrate. Sip, sip. Sip, sip. Stretch. Oh, stretch. Oh, stretch. Later. So I'm going to extrude that. That. Now I'm saving a ton of material. Well, not a ton, but a good amount of print time, I think. Probably. By doing that. So these holes are sized for the motherboard screws. These are so short, man. How thick is the motherboard? I think if I brought the print down to the thickness of the motherboard, it would be too weak. But maybe not. It's 1.5 millimeters. That's not a lot of 3D print, damn. My problem when I design stuff is I always way over engineer it. It's always way stronger than it needs to be. That's only like 7 layers of 3D print if I print at 0.2 millimeters, which I would. Do another sketch. You're right, I need sleep. A worm in the morning. Later, have a good eat. Big cooling moment. Yeah, even though the single board computer only uses like 6 watts at most. So I think the HBA actually may use more power than the single board computer itself does, which is funny. It's an absolute mood. Always end up burning through filament. Yeah, I always way over engineer shit, usually, which is funny, but filament's fairly cheap. Not a huge deal. I will need to install a roll of PETG for this, for sure. I mean, nothing this is going to be touching gets that hot, but PLA's glass transition temperatures, like, it starts getting fairly soft at like 55 C, so it's not very hot. But, so I think PETG is probably a good bet. I could do it out of ABS too, but yeah. I need to make this, whatever the hell size the head of the screw is. 7 millimeters. It's a fat screw head. Like, seven and a half millimeters would be good. And I was already almost all on it. Just dragging that out where it was. Granted, this isn't going to be getting a lot of shock load or anything. It's just going to be holding these in place. And they don't weigh very much, so it doesn't need to be that strong, but yeah, it'll be fine. So no, I know I know I am 4 millimeters thick on this base, and the motherboard's 1.5 millimeters, so it means this needs to go negative 2.5 millimeter. So that's pretty much what it's going to look like. Oh, man, I fucked some. There's some setting in this program that turned it into isometric view, or whatever it's called, and it's driving me nuts. Look how that distorts it when I look at it like this. It's so weird. I hate that. I don't know what setting I turned on accident. Looks pretty good so far. Yeah. Let's see. Thinking I'm gonna extend this further back by like another 5 millimeters, maybe. Yeah, another 5mm would probably be good. I'll throw linear views somewhere in preferences. You can go into the render tab and see it better. Yeah. I haven't actually used the render stuff in Fusion very much at all. I did a shit ton in Inventor, because Inventor is what I learned 3D CAD on, and it's a fair amount different than Fusion. But I don't have access to that anymore because I'm not in school anymore. And I am not going to pay for that shit because that's expensive. You... No. I'm not worried about it right now. Button that says design. Oh yeah, I forgot they move all this shit around. Cause I remember it being up, like, up in here or something. Yeah, this is the type of view I'm used to. Instead of it compensating for distance. I hate that. Yeah, this will look pretty good. I'll champ for all of the edges and stuff for sure, but... I'm going to extrude this one another 5mm. 3mm. And then maybe... What's the distance here? I don't know if this will tell me or not. 2.75mm. I always have to use my calipers to visualize. That is not very much. Four and a quarter millimeters. Even that's not very much, but probably fairly good. Be better if it was like 6mm or something. Yeah, I'm gonna extrude that another 1.25mm. And then, what was this one? 2.75 or something like that? Yeah, 2.75. What did I just make this? 5.5mm.
Skyline looked like a stained glass window. The city sang such mad four bare feet on a rain.
So this should extrude 2.75mm. I should have gotten it to 5.5. Yep. And I'm gonna do the same on this side. I won't do the same on the front because that's where it needs to be. What the fuck? No. You're doing your shit. Actually, I need to measure this one to see what it is. Should be the same as the other side. Yeah, so... extrude this 2.75. That should have got me to 5.5. Yep. Much more better. Then I will fill it. All edges of the exposed sides. That one, that one, that one, that one, that one. This one, that one. Do I want to do those ones though? I don't think I do. Because that's going to be butted up against the IO shields of the chassis. Oh, it doesn't like 2. Well, 1. 0.5. So yeah, it looks pretty good. Let's have countersinks for the screws that hold the Zima board in. Those are countersunk for mounting it to the motherboard tray. These should be sized good enough that the IO shield screws will dig in and create their own threads. We'll double check that, but say this design by itself looks pretty good. Looks a beaut. Thank you. I do still want to I do want to model on a little faceplate right here that'll basically block off the rest of the IO shield hole. Because the Zima board IO will stick out this side, and then this side is just going to be the add-in card. Actually, I don't think I've shown you what I'm trying to do here. So, let me... my webcam. So basically, this is the Zima board. There's all the IO stuff, and there's a PCIe slot, and all of this IO is going to be going out of where the IO shield goes in a normal motherboard tray. And then I have this HBA with a SAS connector. That just pops on right there, like that. So basically I want this to be poking out, but this I want to be hidden so I'm not having a shit ton of airflow. I'll still probably poke some holes through it so airflow goes across this heatsink, but I just don't want it to be wide open. So we'll need to figure that out. Looks funky, but that makes sense. Yeah, it's... well, this SBC is just meant to be like super easy tinker board, basically. It's not meant to be super fancy or pretty or nothing. But actually, let me undo the chamfer because I want I may have to print this as a proof of concept, and if I do, I'll just do it in PLA. But print it and then kind of measure from the design where this sits in the IO shield hole, so I can know where to put the IO shield cover and stuff. Because as of right now, I don't know exactly where this is going to sit. Because trying to get in there with the calipers is very difficult because I haven't taken the power supply out, so there's not a lot of space. And taking the power supply out is kind of a pain in the ass, so... Okay, can we just not have just... I want lyrics as well. Man, I swear this battery is going bad in my vape. Shouldn't be. I didn't buy this battery that long ago, but maybe it's already worn out. I don't know. Printing sounds better than trying to measure it off the motherboard mount point. Yeah. Because I know the motherboard mount points because I got these off of the motherboard, but trying to figure out where the IO sits exactly is a little on the tricky side. And this isn't going to take very much filament, I don't think. Let me just save this. Okay, I'm gonna export. Is it a 3MF file? I don't know. I'm just gonna do STL. 3MF file I think is better, but I can't remember. Okay. Let me... just open this up really quick in Bamboo Studio. I'll probably just print this out of red because I have a bunch of red filament that I don't use very often. Switch this to red so it's easier to see as well. And so I don't want to update right now. Generic PLA. Perfect. STLs are smoother IRC, but 3MF files are compatible with more slicers. I heard it was the opposite, because STLs are like the gold standard, or like the old school like standard for 3D printing files. But 3MF files I heard were newer and contained more information to provide a smoother print. I've always used STL, so I'll just stick with that. I forgot to add the chamfers back on, but this is just a proof of concept print, so let me switch this back to 0.2 standard. Strength, wall loops to... this is all fine. I don't want grid, I want gyroid. Let me slice it, see what it looks like. It's gonna take an hour and a half on my Bambu Lab X1 Carbon. It's gonna take total filament 50 grams. Yeah. This model is not going to take very much filament at all. It's 250. If I start this print right now, it will finish in time for me to test it before I go to bed. So, sure, 2, 5, 3. I'm gonna bring that up to 5, just for my peace of mind. No, I'm gonna drop it back to 3. I'm gonna drop that to 3 as well. Hour 36. I thought it was an hour 36 with 5. What? Yeah, hour 36. I don't understand that. Oh, it's because the top layers don't take nothing because they're on the stand-up. So, okay. Is this a motherboard plate or something? Yes. Very good. Very good eye. This is an adapter plate I am designing to go in. I think it's a standard ATX layout. I think. I'm not 100% sure because this is a super micro chassis, server chassis. But it's adapting from the motherboard layout of the screws to a single board SBC, single board computer. And also mounting for an add-in PCIe card for a little project of mine. Also, hi, hello, welcome on in. Hope you're doing well tonight. Yeah, I'm going to print this really quick. Well, really quick, it's going to take an hour and a half, but I can speed that up if I put my printer on a faster speed. Actually, can't do that because this red filament is not high-speed filament, so I can't make it go faster. But well, I probably could, but I risk clogging my printer. But yeah, send this to the printer. See how well it does. There's something on the plate. No. That's just a little oil or something on the plate, which I'm not concerned about. Wow. Chat. Y'all are cute. That can go there. Have the screws. Yeah, once this finishes tonight, I am going to I'm gonna mount everything with their screws. I forgot to check the screw holes to see if the PCIe bracket screws were thread in, but we'll test it with this. And I'll know if I need to tighten them up a bit, but yeah. Heck, no you, no you. Chat's cute, always. Not the streamer, chat. Dead man adorable. Yeah, I'm excited I got this model pretty much finalized tonight, for the most part. As if this works, this is gonna be excellent. Because I've been wanting to do this. I've been wanting to do this actually for a long time, but tonight I just decided, okay, I'm doing it now. But if I can get this working as I have it in my mind, I'll still need to order a part. It's like $45 part. It's to essentially turn a Supermicro server chassis into a JBOD enclosure, which is just a bunch of disks enclosure. Meaning there's an adapter board that the power supply plugs into, that with the 24-pin ATX and I think the 12-pin as well, maybe. Or not the 12-pin, the 4-pin like CPU connector as well as the front panel connectors and all that stuff. So the server can actually, the chassis can actually turn on with the power supply and power the backplane for all of the hard disks and have the front panel still operational. So I will need to order that at some point. But for proof of concept, this will work. And then if it does work as I expect, then I will hardwire this Zima board, because it has front panel IO connectors on the board, as well as external power connector. Instead of using the barrel jack, I can solder straight into the board with 12 volts. So I'll have to wire that up to the add-in board so everything works as expected. But yeah, I'm kind of interested to see how it'll work. You're not using brass heat press inserts for the screw mounts? I'm not. I would, and I thought about it, but I don't have any at the moment. I might look on Amazon to see if I can find just a cheapo kit. But again, this is not like, it doesn't need to be very strong. It's literally just holding these in place. So they're not just floating around in the chassis. So like just using the screws to make their own threads into the plastic probably will be strong enough. But I might buy a kit of heat set inserts just to have, because I 3D print all the time, so it would be kind of handy to have those. But yeah, I got STLs and steps mixed up earlier, my bad. Oh yeah, no worries, Flyer. Yeah, step files, I don't think I've ever used those before. It's always been STLs or 3MF files for like just like actual 3D printing. Sip chat. I do need to try to find my my SAS SF 8087s, I think is what this connector is called. But I do need to find my breakout cable for this HBA. It's in one of my storage boxes somewhere. I do need to find that because that is kind of important to have. Otherwise this add-in card doesn't work. Because I need to break the SAS connector out to 4 SATA connectors. But well, that's another thing that controller adapter board thing does that I need to buy, is it also controls the fans. It has fan headers to control all the chassis fans. So looks like there's a little white glob of filament on the nozzle. It'll probably be fine. Looks like it's just stuck to the side of the nozzle. I'll watch it and see if it causes an issue. What was the last thing I printed in white? So the last thing I printed was black. What did I print in white? Oh, I know. I designed and printed. Where are they? Hold on a second, let me find them. Because I want to show you guys, because it's pretty cool. Here they are. So, let me show myself. Hello, chat. is me, Timber. But the last project I worked on that had white in it were these. And this was just a test print. And I made some changes before the final revision, but I also printed this, which is just a little holder. Coasters, yes. These are coasters for my friend Canadian Dragon. And this is like his logo that I had him send me the file for, and I was able to put on the print and make little coasters with 2 different colors of PLA. And the final version has like a lip on the edge, so if condensation or whatever sits on it, it'll catch it from falling off onto the desk. But yeah, these were a pretty fun little project to work on. Although I need to play around with multicolor prints more, because the only way I could figure out how to do this with a design like that with a different color was to have that layer, or have that color one layer higher than the rest of the print. That way I could paint it with the color in Bamboo Studio. And it causes some issues. I don't know if the camera kind of shows it, but as you can see on like the edge of the white, it like fades. It has a little back bleed to it. And that's because the top layer on like the outer, like, I don't know, 0.5 millimeter maybe of all of the white, it printed black underneath that instead of having white for like the top like 2 or 3 layers of the white section. So it has a little bleed through it. I don't know how to fix that, but I need to play around with it more to figure it out. But ooh, that looks sick. Yeah, it turned out pretty good. I printed CD, my friend Canadian Dragon, I printed him, I think, a set of 6 coasters. And a nice little holder for him too. Really slick, it's so smooth, yeah. Little mix-in pretty much. Well, the filament didn't mix, but the black, because the black is the base color, it's bleeding through the white, because the white on the outer edge of where the white is, it's only a single layer thick, so it's not thick enough to stop that back bleed. So I need to play around with that some more, but yeah. Coasters, Raz, wah. Hey, did you see these? I don't think I showed you these, but I printed these for CD's birthday. I gave to him at BLFC. But the back side is really smooth because I'm using, I use this smooth plate for my printer, and it gives a really nice smooth first layer. Resumes, facts, lighting. Oh, neat. Yee. It's a fun little project. Yeah. Let me go back to the printer so you guys can see it. Don't know, the black bleed kind of looks cool though. It does. It does have a nice little cool, kind of a cool character to the print. It's kind of neat. Oh yeah, that white came off in a little bit of the red. It's fine. This is just a test print. But yeah, I also printed, that's not the first thing I printed of his logo. Last time I printed his logo was before I had my Bamboo printer. It was when I had, when I was using my Ender 3 Pro, which I still have, but I'm probably going to get rid of soon because I don't use it anymore. But it was little keychains of his logo, and they turned out pretty cool. And that was hard to get right because, of course, it's 2 different colors, so I had to pause the print on the last layer of the base. And with the keychains, the white layer was quite thick. It was just as thick as the base layer, and it extended past the base layer the same thickness as the base layer was. That was kind of tricky because I had to pause the print at the top of the base layer, swap filaments with the white, purge it a little bit, and then resume the print all without bumping the gantry, which is very easy to do, and it was annoying as fuck. But I was able to do it. Expensive but fun idea. Use Peltier cooler under the coaster and use a small SMD LEDs to light up the white layers. That would be really cool, except it wouldn't work because, well, it would kind of work, but one, the LEDs, I would have to design like my own circuit board or something for the LEDs, and I'd have to use SMD LEDs for the size constraints, unless I had just a stupid thick coaster. And the Peltier module, cool idea, except the way the Peltier modules work is there's a hot side and a cold side, and they're powered, and they can be used in either direction, except the hot side has to be dissipated with a heat sink of some kind. If you used it as a heater, the heater would be whatever you're heating, or the heat sink would be whatever you're heating. But the cool side would also need a heat sink to gather enough thermal energy to transfer. Otherwise, it would just ice up. And that wouldn't fit inside of a coaster. But that'd be a neat idea, though. It'd be cool for like a built-in coaster on the desk or something. What I mean is use the Peltier module to power the LEDs. Oh, that would be neat. I kind of wonder if a Peltier module would produce enough energy just from the heat of a hot cup put on it or something. I don't know. A hot cup was put on top. That would be pretty neat. Magic in a heatsink on the bottom with a jewel thief. I love the Midnight. It makes such good music. Chat, sip sip, hydrate. That's kind of an interesting visual glitch I just noticed. You look over here, the way the bamboo slicer is supposed to show it when you're printing is whatever filament you have is supposed to show a red line going through and then to the head. But for whatever reason, this is showing just the red right here. That's very odd. It's never done that before, I don't think. What if going to just preview and then back to device fixes it? It does. Now it's showing it properly. Huh. It's an odd little visual glitch. It's like no, this is the first layer, so it's gonna be a little bumpy right there. But this line right here, it looks like it's over extruding slightly, or not over extruding, but overlapping the walls a little bit too much, maybe. But I did have that set kind of high for a few things I printed previously. That I can tell there's some contamination on the bed right here. But I had that set kind of high for the overlap because I wanted the walls to have a really good adhesion to the layers and also the supports, or not supports, but infill. So I cranked that up a little bit. I think that setting may still be applied, but regardless, the print will still turn out good with it like that. So. Is this just a instrumental? It's just a remix, yeah. Wah. Wah, chat. Wah. This is really gonna speed up here after the second layer, I think. I think the first 2 layers are slow. You can see on the progress bar down here, like, how much. It's already 17% done with the print, and it's not even completed the first layer. So you can, that kind of tells you how fast this thing prints. It's kind of nuts. Wah. Wah. Yeah, this is going to continue printing for another hour and 10 minutes-ish. So let me find someone to raid, chat. I appreciate y'all hanging out tonight. It's kind of late for me, it's 3:10 in the morning. And I don't stream usually past 3, usually. I streamed a little bit past it tonight because I started late, but... yeah. I miss Timber, I miss Laine. Who is online that I could share the support on over to? Let's see. They're doing art. Let's see here. They're doing Phasmophobia. I haven't seen Phasmophobia in a while. I'm gonna let the pre-roll ads roll so I can actually see. I haven't played Phasmophobia in like 2 years probably at this point. Twitch, could you not default to 360p, you fuck ass? Source quality, please. There we go. Oh wow, they updated a shit ton. Damn, this looks way different. Yeah, look at this. Look at this print now. Look how fast the printer's going. It's fucking human. It's always fun watching how fast this thing is. Look at that. It's fucking going. Zoom in exactly. It's fast as fuck, boy. Timber, Kazuo. It's the Wolger. Timber. Kaz? Yes. Kazuo. Time to shit my britches, Shaw. I mean, Ford, what the fuck? You come in with the weirdest shit every time, I swear to God. Oh my God. I wish I could buy a 3D printer. You can find like Enders for fairly inexpensive most of the time. Yes, it depends on your market and everything, but definitely worth something to save up for, I would say. What different filaments do you have? In terms of types of plastics, right now I have PLA, I have PETG, I have ABS, and I have ASA. I haven't printed with the ABS or ASA yet, but I'm probably gonna use the PETG for this on the full run, or on the full print, not just the test print, but yeah. College student with daily lunch allowance ain't gonna cut it. I feel that. When I went to college, I paid for it out of pocket, and I didn't work during college, and it was tough. There was a lot of luckily I paid for room and board, so I didn't have to worry about food and stuff too much, but it was a tight budget for a while. But why, Kaz? What do you want me to print? The nice thing about this printer, this Bambu printer, is I can print just about any filament. Just about. Can't print the super exotic stuff, but it's definitely capable of ABS and ASA, and maybe polycarbonate. Although I know polycarbonate's a bitch to print with. But I'll message you later when I remember. Okay. Yeah, this thing is fucking zooming. That first layer is nice and slow to get good bed adhesion. But after that, it speeds way up. Once it finishes this layer, I'll set it to ludicrous speed, because it has ludicrous speed. I'll set it to that so you guys can see it. Definitely remembers XD. Res Comfy Drolf. Comfy Floofy Drolf. Wow, Ford comes in here, drops that, laughs, and then leaves. How dare. Sip sip chat. Ford. Such is life as Ford, yeah. Ford bringing chaos to every stream. Every stream, yeah. Oh my god, Ford. What the fuck is that? Oh, Jesus Christ. Cursed jaw emotes, of course. Do you have a hardened nozzle? I do. So this is the X1 carbon, so it has a full hardened hot end. So the nozzle's hardened, the extruder gears are hardened, everything's hardened. Which is why I got this printer instead of the X1, or not the X1, the P1P, because it's essentially the same printer for the most part. But the X1 carbon had some more premium features for more exotic filaments and stuff, and a higher build plate temperature and nozzle temperature and stuff, so gnarly. Yeah, it can print. The bed can hit 110C or 120C, and the nozzle can hit 300C. So I think it can print polycarbonate, but I know polycarbonate's a bitch to print in general, so. Oh yeah, so now it's doing the third layer. Let me bump it up to ludicrous speed. Look at how fast that is. Yeah, now it says 42 minutes to finish. I'm gonna bring it back to standard because I'm not running a high-speed filament, so I don't want to clog my hot end, but 42 minutes from, I think it was an hour and 12 minutes it had left. Something like that. It'll show down here again in a second once it recalculates. But granted, when you speed it up like that, it does have some issues like this. Well, you can't see it's behind chat, but it does get some issues in the print, some inconsistencies. But yeah, an hour and 10 minutes. Like it's 30 minutes off. But yeah. But yeah, chat. I know who we are going to send you guys off to. So that will be our raid message. We are going to raid the 13th Seahawk, wherever he is in my raid queue here. Wait, is he not showing up in my raid queue? Wait, what? No, sort by this. There he is. Yeah, I'm gonna send you guys off to the 13th Seahawk. 13. He's a good boyo. He's playing some Phasmophobia with friends. So I haven't seen that game in a long time. I haven't played it in like 2 years. So yeah. I appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out with me, even though the stream was kind of boring, question mark. I was having a good time trying to figure out all these dimensions and all that stuff and get it down how I have envisioned it in my head. But yeah. Nighty, Rez cute and floofy and comfy Drolf. Glad I caught the tail of it. Yeah, I appreciate you coming in and hanging out. Means a lot. Wah. Always a good time hanging out with chat. Sorry for the shorter stream tonight, but I got distracted. So, Ford, what the fuck? Oh my god. The emotes are so cursed. Jesus. Alrighty, with that, I'm gonna send you guys off. Say hi to 13 for me. Y'all have a wonderful night and a wonderful rest of your week. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.